Hey, great people. Thank you for joining us. I am Chidi Akunna.
I'm always Victor Akunna.
Always. Thank you. If you're new to our channel, please do not forget to subscribe and turn on the bell next to it so you're notified when we drop all our lovely content. Hey, at Foundation for Family Affairs, we talk everything romance, intimacy, and
And
family.
family.
And our mission is to connect hearts and raise healthy families.
Hallelujah.
Hey, what's the state of things in your family?
Fantastic.
How are you faring? How are you faring with your spouse? How are you faring with your children? And to optimize your relationship, we drop content every week. So come on our channel every week and you will find something new, something fresh, something to boost the state of things in your marriage. You want to say something?
Yes, so today what we're looking at how do you support your spouse? We believe something that, there's no point. I mean, before your spouse got married to you, hopefully they had a lot of people they could have married.
Yeah.
So whoever they have decided to get married to must be number one cheerleader. Must be that person that will make their lives much better.
Yes.
Must be that person whereby when people look at both of you 5 years from now, they'll be like, I think Victor made a good choice. Chidi made a good choice.
Yeah, right.
Why? Because they can see the transformation literally in the life of this person.
Yeah.
People can see,
Yes.
People can see when you have a good marriage. People can see. If they can't see now, wait 5 years from now, they will know whether you made a good call because there is no relationship that leaves you the same. Much, and even much more so, the relationship with the person that spent most times with you. All right, most time with you. So that's what we're looking at. How do you support your spouse? So you've become that person who maybe you didn't see your dad do that for your mom, but you said, I'm going to be different.
Yes.
I'm going to be the person whoever any woman that comes that I get married to, I'm going to be that person who is going to make her blossom. That's the reason why they call it husband. Husband is a farming word that means to cultivate, to nurture, to cause something to bloom, to maximize its full potential. How do you become that guy? How do you become that woman? That's what we'll be discussing today.
Marriage should improve you. Okay.
Absolutely.
Marriage should improve you. So if you're in your relationship and you feel I feel stuck here, or I don't feel like I'm the better version of myself, or you just feel different. We have come with hope today to let you know that it's still possible
Absolutely.
to improve things in your marriage. You just need to go through our channel. There are a lot of resources that you can benefit from. We say it passionately because as we coach people, as we work closely with couples, we see the transformation in their lives. They are often excited. They reach us with a lot of excitement because it's like they just discover a new part of themselves. Okay, so we can take it to the next level. And that's what we've come to tell you today. You can do better in your marriage. You can have a better experience.
Yes.
Okay, so talking about how to support your spouse, the first way we have come your way today to tell you is to support your spouse emotionally. And when we talk about supporting your spouse emotionally, it involves a lot of things. Okay, do you have the right attitude? Because sometimes it's one thing when you've seen someone up close maybe make some mistakes, some errors, and you feel disappointed. It matters your attitude. Okay, how do you relate with that person at that time? Does your attitude say to this person, I feel disappointed in you, I feel like my life is doomed because you're in it, or we're not moving forward? Your attitude, with the right attitude, you can salvage that situation. Okay, your attitude can still give your spouse a boost, can still make your spouse believe that, at least there's one person who's not giving up on me, even though I've given up on myself. Okay, and your spouse would want to get up again and try again. Okay, so we're talking about emotional support. Are you there for your spouse? Okay, do you show affection? Sometimes by reason of being together for so long, we tend to forget that we really should be extending towards each other some affection. Okay, so from time to time, just reach for your spouse's hand and touch it, just letting him know, I'm still here. Okay, you still got me, no matter what's happening. Okay, you can give a hug, you can just bring him close, cuddle him. People still need that. I'm sure as I'm saying it must be resonating with you, and you'll be feeling like, of course, I know I still need that support. Okay, and then sometimes it's in the course of communication. Do you show active listening? Like you what you have to say is important to me. I am interested in what you have to say because you are important. You know, you need to be communicating that. That's emotional support. Okay, and one that sometimes people take for granted is that you talk, you express how you feel. There will be no intimacy if there's no sharing, if there's no disclosure. So if you feel in a certain way, if you feel off about something your spouse does, you need to be talking about it. You know, in that way, your spouse may also be able to give you the emotional support you need. Because sometimes you hear some spouses complain and say, oh, I don't feel supported. It might just be that you're not even communicating your needs. I will stop there.
Yeah, fantastic point. Yeah, emotional support is so important. Because we as human beings, we are emotional beings as well. All right. So there is an emotional side of us that there is nothing we can do about. We just have to accept it and see how we can leverage on it to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. Someone said emotion is energy in motion. So for example, one thing I've realized that everyone has unique emotional needs. All right. So whatever will work for my wife might not work for yours. All right. So you have to look at your spouse and say, what emotional needs can you notice and how can you meet them? For some people, for example, they like someone that will encourage them. They like someone that will say, you know what, this dream, encourage them to be able to do that stuff. Some people need a listening ear. That's what they need. They don't really need an encouragement. They want someone that will get them. That's what connects with them emotionally. So you know what? For the first time, you're actually the one person that really gets me. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like my ideas are too complicated and people don't understand. That's what they need. That's the kind of support they're looking for. Some other people need someone that will believe in them. They don't believe in themselves. So they have these big ideas, but they don't feel that they are credible enough to pull it through. They need someone to believe in them. So study your spouse and see what emotional need would Victor have. What emotional I don't know the name of your spouse, but study your spouse and see so that you can hit the bull's eye. That's one good thing about being a spouse to someone. You are seeing them up close. But sometimes I've realized from experience that sometimes someone can be so close to you, but you might not really notice what they are going through.
That's true.
Because you are seeing them through the eye of what you want to see, not how they are at the moment. So once in a while, you need to step back and say, what my wife going through? How can I be of support? All right. Some spouses, they have a hard shell. You know, no matter what you're doing, they're like, yeah, don't worry. Yeah. You know, even when you compliment them, oh, don't worry, it's nothing. You know, they keep, but sometimes they need it more. They want you to persist. So don't just say, my wife doesn't accept. Sometimes you have to persist because they want to try you out. They want to check. Do you really mean what you're saying? Okay, that's what we have to add to that.
Okay, so another way you can support your spouse is to support financially.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes when we say this, we do joint accounting.
Yes.
So there's no like it's your money or my money. So it even works best for us.
Yes.
Okay. But if that's not your case, who says you can't be supporting financially?
Fantastic.
Okay, because sometimes some people say, oh, I've given him this amount and I've given that amount. It's your spouse. What makes his life good makes yours better.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we need to have that disposition in marriage. And then when we're talking about financial support as well, it's not just often monetary things. It could be an idea that produces wealth.
Fantastic.
Okay, you have that idea. I don't get it when people hoard things from their spouse. Okay, what benefits him benefits you. It's for your good. Okay, and hopefully, I want to believe that's the aim of anyone watching us today. It's not to achieve equality in marriage. Oh no. That's not the aim. If it's equality, then we want to do it 50-50. Okay, but we're looking at equity, and that's just us saying, whatever we have and the resources we have would bring the other person up to the level the person needs to get to.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you're up here and your spouse is still down there, you use the resources there to benefit the other, bring the person to the same level. That person benefits because he is in a relationship, in marriage with you, and that's what it should be. So if you have those great ideas you think that would help your spouse, whatever your spouse is doing, fly, why not? Shoot.
Another good way where you can also support your spouse is to hold them accountable financially. So if you have a spouse that is a spendthrift, that spends before thinking, you have to be that person that will provide that financial support. So support, it's giving someone something they need, even if the person thinks they don't need it.
I like that.
All right. Sometimes your child that is learning to eat by themselves might think they don't need that skill. They want you to feed them. No, the support you need now, young man, young lady, is to be able to do this thing by yourself. That's the support. So sometimes your spouse might not think they need budgeting. Do it anyway. Hold them accountable to say, the way we're spending money in this family, this is where it's going to lead us. Give them that support. All right. Another way to also, that's one key thing that we want to talk about. Accountability. Hold them accountable. My wife talked about helping them, giving them ideas that will multiply the income. Share ideas as well on how they can invest. Okay. Invest, how they can save, how they can cut their expenses, what to spend money on. All right, so these are ways you can also support someone financially.
Yes.
Remember what you said. Whatever is good for you will make, if it's good for your spouse, it's good for you as well. Because together, you guys are a legal entity, not just a spiritual, you're a legal entity as well. Whatever affects your spouse affects you. The reputation of your spouse can affect you, can rub off on you. All right, our present chancellor now, when there was an allegation about his wife not paying tax, it affected him. People were calling him out and asking him questions. You are benefiting. So your life is connected by covenants, legally, reputationally, is connected, financially, is connected. So we have to be able to support each other.
Oh, yes. So the next point we have for you is to support each other spiritually.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you pray for your spouse?
Absolutely.
When was the last time you prayed for your spouse? Okay. And we like this thing we do where we pray to each other's hearing as well. And those moments when you feel really low, when you're needing a boost, when you need someone to encourage you, an encouraging word. It's always refreshing to hear from my husband. When he prays for me or he sends me a text, or I'm fidgeting about something and his text just comes in at the right time. It's so powerful. I don't know how to explain it. We need to be leveraging on each other, having each other.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's why we have each other in our lives. Okay, has your spouse gone for an appointment and probably it didn't work out? You should be the greatest support at that time. Giving those encouraging words, sharing scriptures with your spouse, praying with your spouse. Your spouse should know that at least my wife is praying, my husband is praying. It's really important.
Yes. It's so powerful. It's so powerful that it's one of the ways of pulling your heart together. I like what you said. That's one thing that we'll practice. When we pray for each other, we pray out loud so that you know the positive, powerful intention of your spouse towards you. It neutralizes whatever thing they may not be happy with you about. It's very powerful. That's when she does that for me. I'm like, wow, that's so powerful. I tell her, I enjoy you pray for me. I like it, honestly. It's like, it's another way of someone saying, I love you. I'm telling you, and it's a very potent way. So pray for your spouse is so important. Pray about their future. All right, especially as a woman, pray about your husband's future. Ask for wisdom for him. As someone who is leading the family, a leader needs wisdom. Pray for the spirit of discernment, for him to be able to spot people that are out to do him harm, so that he can avoid them. A wise person will avoid them. You see danger ahead and avoid it. Pray for doors to be opened unto him. So there are many things you can pray for your spouse. You can pray for your wife as well. Pray for her future. Pray for things that you should know the goals of your spouse. Pray for wisdom. Pray for the right network, the right relationship. These are things you need to pray and call forth into your spouse's life. These are very, very powerful. Our words are powerful. They create our future.
We were saying this to someone we worked with, and they were already going apart, okay? And the woman was giving up in that marriage. I remember that day where it was a distress call. You said a few things to her and said, it's a covenant. You are in a covenant with that man. And I think it just activated something in her. And she went into prayers. The next we heard from them, they're back. So there are some things you deal with because you have that spiritual authority as a spouse. Yes. Okay. So the next point we have for you to share is you can support your spouse in his career, business or vocation, whatever it is your spouse is doing. Okay. You may not necessarily be in the same line, in the same industry, but you can still support. Okay, I remember when I was job hunting, and I would just open my emails and see, emails from different places. Sometimes we regret to say we're afraid we can't take you at this time, and I'll be wondering, I never sent any CVs to these companies, but he was doing that on my behalf. I was busy at the time, so any chance he got, because he knew I had to be sending CVs in. It won't just work like that. Okay, so that was him supporting me in my career. That's one way you can support your spouse. You could support by also researching things in that industry, so what support to give at that time. Your spouse may be working on a project. There's nothing wrong with researching it. Okay, the ideas you bring would be an add-on.
Yes.
So it's just important.
Yes. So we're saying summarily, get interested in your spouse's life. Get interested in your spouse's career. Yeah. Be emotionally interested, invested. All right. When you're talking about your career, listen, pick up the terminologies, find out things, ask them questions. When they're asking you, thinking out loud, provide some solutions. All right. Talk and engage. Find a way to give them something. If maybe a course that will be very relevant, send the link to her. She knows. I'll send her link. Then later I'll ask her, maybe did you say this? Why? Because I just want her to do better.
Yeah.
All right. If a wife is the glory of a man, in other words, the brighter she shines, the more it reflects on me as a leader. If your wife is not shining, it speaks a lot. So you have to do your best to push. Sometimes you push physically, sometimes emotionally, sometimes prayerfully, sometimes you give a little nudge. Sometimes there are many ways.
They're uncomfortable. But
sometimes they're uncomfortable.
You must keep
it. Being uncomfortable is not bad, because you have to, for you to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. All right. Ask a woman that is delivering, that the baby is growing a bit. Tell her, ask her whether it's comfortable. It's not comfortable because the belly is stretching. You see stretch mark here. She's not comfortable. So any form of growth is not often comfortable. The seed in the ground that is trying to, deconstruct and break out the shell is not comfortable. The larva that is trying to transform to come out as a butterfly is not comfortable. So if you are comfortable, you're probably not growing. Push yourself, okay? Push your spouse.
Okay, so the last point we have for you in this video is parenting.
Yes.
Okay, you need to support each other on your journey, on your parenting journey.
Very important.
Very
Very
important.
critical.
Your children should be seeing you as a team.
Yeah.
Okay, not seeing one person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because sometimes children have that thing where they feel only mom cares about this.
Yes.
Okay, or only dad cares about this. So they need to see that both of you are partnering in the journey. Really important.
Even when you don't agree with some of your things that your spouse is doing in front of your child, the wise thing to do is to talk about it after you've finished. All right. So, for example, my child does something and I react in a certain way, and my wife is like, no, you overreacted. Instead of telling me off before the child, that's taking away from my own authority. That's what you're actually doing. All right. Keep quiet about it and say, you know what, boy, you shouldn't have done that. That is upset with you, blah blah. And then go back and talk to your spouse. That's much better approach.
Yes.
It will achieve two things. You will achieve the discipline for the child, but you also achieve building your relationship together and strengthening it. So very, very critical for you to support your spouse in that regard. Yeah.
So come on, let's go and support each other. Okay. You need to also be checking with your spouse and probably ask it as a question today. Do you feel supported? Do you feel like I support you spiritually? Do you feel like I support you emotionally? Your spouse may say not enough. And then you look for, you talk about it and look for how you can improve things. Okay, so if you have other points you think we have not touched on, would like to hear from you, feel free to communicate with us. You can drop them in the comment section, beg your pardon. Okay, and then in the description box there is a link if you want to join our coaching program, Intimacy Builder program. You may have heard us talk about our coaching as we were speaking. Feel free to hit that link and we will be in contact. If you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Please hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you're notified when we drop our content. Until we come your way again, you go on and keep enjoying your marriage.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.